Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. We have got Chelsea news back. It's been 5 days, which I know is a very long time. When I said there was going to be Euros content, I said there was still going to be Chelsea content. I'm back in the UK, as you can probably tell. Jet lag, it's hurting me a little bit. The dryness of the air is also affecting my throat. I feel like I've literally been on the piss for 20 pints a day for the last 5 days, but I haven't touched any of it. I'm absolutely knackered, and I've been struggling to get back into the rhythm of this time zone. Watching the Euros football has been brilliant. England get off to a decent start. We play later today, but the process of today's video is going to be to talk to you about the latest Chelsea news, because there are massive updates that we've heard about Michael Olise. There are also updates to come about Ian Maatsen, who looks to be on the way to Aston Villa. And then we're going to talk about what else that could involve when it comes to an Aston Villa player coming to Chelsea on a separate deal, but it might not be John Duran. I feel as though whenever it's Chelsea transfer season, it's always pantomime. No, he doesn't. He's behind. It doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff to go through today, but we begin with the news about a striker called Samu Omorodion. Again. It's another name that is very easy to butcher. Samu, we're going to call him today, plays for Atletico Madrid. Last season, he was on loan at Alaves, and he scored 8 goals. He's big, he's tall, and he's powerful. And as a reason for that, because he went on loan and scored 8 goals in La Liga seems to be that figure, doesn't it? It seems to be the number that if you score 8 in La Liga, Chelsea will want to buy you. Now, I'm being sarcastic, of course. I don't really know anything about this guy. Chelsea reportedly wanted to pay Atletico Madrid around 40 million euros, and the updates already, after seeing this interest come in from Chelsea, Atletico Madrid are trying to get him to sign a new contract where he then has a 120 million release clause in it. I feel like teams see Chelsea coming from a mile away and they're like, hang about, we've got the opportunity here to make an extra 80 million because Chelsea are in town. I've never even heard of this bloke, and he scored 8 goals. We're not talking about 88 or 18 or 28, 8. 8 goals Samu Omorodion scored at Alaves last season. Atletico Madrid obviously want him to come back. It's not a bad return. He does look like a really strong, tall, powerful striker. But at the same time, as much as I can be sarcastic and be like, I don't know who this guy is, so why would Chelsea then go and break the bank for him? I also didn't have a clue about Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson had a great purple patch at the end of last season for Villarreal, and then he comes to Chelsea and he actually does a really good job. So as much as we can make little comments and jokes about the ownership and how they're spending money, and we don't know this player, so like, why did Chelsea even want to buy him? At the end of the day, there are some players that we've brought in that we may not have thought were going to work, but they've absolutely ended up working. Now, instead of a Omorodion, we have got Serhou Guirassy, the Stuttgart striker, who is available for a £15 million fee. 15 million quid for a striker that had an absolutely unbelievable season at Stuttgart last year. There is only one issue with this, though. The caveat is that because he's 20, I think he's 28 years old, he might be 27. Why are Chelsea in the market for players for 40 million euros who score 8 goals, but we can't spend 15 million on an experienced striker, a striker that is also big, tall, powerful, scores goals, but we're incessant on going out there and buying the youngest available player? For me, it's still odd. I get it, because a lot of the players that we're also linked with who are young, like your Michael Olise's, you can get excited about that. So it's not necessarily that age is the taboo topic here. It's just you've got to look at the market. You've got to look at the prices, look at the other areas of the field that we actually need to strengthen in. And I think if you do that, you then realise that spending a 15 million fee on Guirassy, who was absolutely magnificent at Stuttgart last season, you spend the money on him, it frees up extra money to make sure that you get the Olise deals over the line that we'll talk about in a moment. Still potentially a new goalkeeper. I'm still hearing that Enzo Maresca is happy with Robert Sanchez because he thinks he's good with the ball at his feet. Tell you what, mate, you're lucky the season begins in the middle of August, Because by the end of August, when the transfer window's still open, you might realise that you should have got a keeper because Sanchez is not the guy. So my argument here with the striker situation is that I think Chelsea, there's so many things right in front of us. I think Guirassy is a fantastic player. I get the going for John Duran thing. I think there is a serious striker there in John Duran, maybe not for right now. And Chelsea are obviously a club that are looking to buy potential. The sunlight is so bright, by the way, so if it looks like I'm asleep, it's because I'm struggling to keep my eyes open here. But at this point in time, Chelsea are still in contact with Atletico Madrid for Omorodion, and we're also in contact with Aston Villa for John Duran. But we move now into the next story of the day. I've got the most makeshift setup right here. I've got you guys on a tripod on the top of the hire car that I've rented. And then I've got my phone with no power saving on, so the screensaver doesn't come on. I've just got to click through all my folders here. So let's move now to discuss Ian Maatsen. Aston Villa have already started initial talks on personal terms. 6-year deal offered. Details to follow on Thursday, with formal proposal being sent to the players' camp. Chelsea, this is great news by the way, Chelsea will receive £37.5 million fee if all goes to plan on the player and Aston Villa's side. More on Ian Maatsen. Villa are confident to get it done. Also, on final details by the end of this week, there's also green light from Chelsea. Obviously, that's even more than the release clause that we wanted Dortmund to pay. Clubs are discussing the possibility to include one player in the deal, currently not guaranteed to be John Duran. So, Aston Villa here, £37.5 million for Ian Maatsen, a player that a lot of us thought maybe shouldn't have gone to Dortmund. There should have been a place for him in the Chelsea squad, but he goes to Dortmund, makes it into the Champions League team of the season, and now Chelsea are going to be getting a £37.5 million fee from Aston Villa. Pure profit. This is good news because this is a serious amount of money that could help us in the quest to keep Conor Gallagher at Chelsea. At least that's my personal quest of the summer anyway. Not that I'm actually physically doing anything other than saying in videos to keep him at the club. But still, this is a really important big fee for Chelsea. And I think Ian Maatsen at 22, Aston Villa, especially playing under Unai Emery, I think they're getting a serious player here. I think it's one of those where Chelsea will be happy with the fee. We need the money bought in now. But I think over time, Aston Villa are going to be looking at this thinking, we absolutely got ourselves a bargain. Now, when it comes to the player coming the other way, the weird thing about this deal for me is that this is money up front from Aston Villa for Ian Maatsen straight into Chelsea's pocket. So is it a case of Chelsea have kind of committed to buying an Aston Villa player? Could it be the other youngster, Rodgers? Is it definitely John Duran? I think the fact that Fabrizio Romano here is telling us that it isn't guaranteed to be John Duran is very interesting. Who else, let me know in the comments down below, who else would you want from Aston Villa? And bearing in mind that we've spoken about throughout this video, we're only still looking really at young players. We're not looking at your 27, 28-year-old Guirassys for 15 million. It's got to be one of Aston Villa's young players here that we're discussing. But we finalised this video by talking about Michael Olise. Crystal Palace have offered new deal to Michael Olise. Higher salary and new release clause for 2025. This is the good thing about me filming videos outside because I can have a little wonder when I get stressed. Understand, despite this, Chelsea still confident as they push to agree on personal terms. It's up to the player. Bayern and Newcastle also allowed to talk to Olise. Now, we saw last summer, Chelsea were in pole position. We thought we were about to sign Michael Olise. It didn't happen because he signed a contract extension at Crystal Palace. Now, the only reason here that I feel as though Palace might actually get him to sign a new contract is because they are in a significantly better position now with a new manager playing amazing football towards the end of the season. If they can keep hold of Eze, keep hold of Mateta up front, who Chelsea have also been linked with, and you keep hold of Olise, and under Oliver Glasner next season, there's no reason why Crystal Palace can't try and push to be the team that Brighton have been in recent years, creeping up on that top six. So my thoughts here as much as I think Chelsea will still sign Olise, because, look, when a club like Chelsea, with the ambitions that Chelsea have, the history that Chelsea has, the fact that we have been literally hammering on that Crystal Palace door now for 2 years in a row, I think this is the summer that Olise makes that move. Chelsea have made it so obvious that they see Olise as a massive player for our future. And look, I think no matter what Crystal Palace do with Oliver Glasner, I think the long-term success potential at Chelsea is higher and better than what Olise would have if he stays at Crystal Palace. I think the interesting thing here, though, that I saw Eunice talking about on Twitter, is that if Crystal Palace offered him a £100,000 a week deal last season, Chelsea, remember, have a £150,000 salary cap right now that we want to pay to players. So if Palace offered him 100 grand last year to keep him, what are Palace financially going to be offering Olise to stay at them again this year, even with that release clause in 2025? Chelsea might somehow get priced out of a move here because of this new salary cap, and then Crystal Palace can keep Olise for another year. That release clause goes from being 65 million to a Champions League club, and it goes to at least 100 million. Just explaining here what could potentially happen. But I think Chelsea get this deal done. I think it is, at the moment, it's up to Olise. I think Olise will absolutely want this Chelsea move, in my opinion. Let's see what happens over the course of the next couple of days. Now that Palace are offering him this new deal again, we're going to see this develop quickly now. I think they understand that Chelsea are being persistent. They understand that the player is open and interested in the move to Chelsea. And this is Crystal Palace's final throw-in before the towel goes in and they surrender defeat to the hands of the mighty Blues. And I've got a funny feeling that Olise is going to be like, sorry, Palace, I stayed last year. Chelsea want me now. I want Chelsea now. Your thoughts on this Chelsea news in the comments down below. That's going to wrap up this video today. England versus Denmark is the match that we have got later on today. I've been feeling rough the last few days, guys. I'm not going to lie, so I apologise for the videos, but I'm going to hopefully be getting back into daily content again now that I can actually speak. Thank you guys for watching this video. Subscribe if you are new. Check out the vlog channel that my girlfriend and I do. The link is in the description. We posted a new vlog a couple of days ago that you guys should check out. I'll speak to you guys in a bit. Come on, you Blues.